Hello everyone, and welcome to this inevitable disaster. Inconsequential, or Incon for short, is a CTM map made by Quail Cakes which claims to be literally impossible. While the question of what the hardest map of all time is pretty fruitless to answer, I'm sure Incon would be a lot of people's first pick for which map is the most insane. Everything that the Un-series does, this map dials to 11, then grabs the amp off the guitar player and dials back up to like 80. Wall right next to TNT? Check. Fast creepers with silverfish riding them? We've got that. Void traps. Speed 2 spiders. Knockback resistant charged creepers. Inescapable bedrock boxes. Blindness maze. One hit silverfish. Poison case. A whole dungeon of insta-kill mobs. To my knowledge, this map's never been completed legit. By which I mean without keep inventory or prior routing. Frostwolf completed it by routing and skipping huge chunks of the map, Quilver grabbed the wall from a dev room, and Chris and Fluffy Phoenix both used keep inventory. And don't get me wrong, those are all very impressive, but they don't tell me what I really want to know. Can it be done? Without routing or changing game rules, could a player beat this map? And, if so, how bad could it possibly be? That's right. In this series, I will attempt to beat Incon. No chicanery involved. Will I do it? Or will I lose the Red Bull to a blast power 2000 charge creeper, which is also invisible? There's only one way to find out! I started by logging in and immediately locking the difficulty on hard, because there's no point in half-arsing it. Always give them the full arse. The rules are a bit confusing, and this one about no funny business is probably going to get stretched, but that wouldn't hold up in court anyway. Following that, I collected some wood using this cake, which is an advanced technique I better not catch you trying, and I took care to avoid this specific log, since it wasn't yet time to detonate myself and all my loved ones. That comes later.
I'm back.
Let's go.
Alright, now that Frosty Acehook had joined the call, I could commence Operation Blow Up Everyone I Know. Unfortunately, he survived. For the next step, I'd have to do something very difficult for a Minecraft player. Something that, until recently, existed only in theory. I'd have to get head. It would be insane if this broke the entire playthrough. After I parkoured to the death counter, something that I have never died to before, I grabbed the bomb debris and made some tools so I could take my total blocks up to 9 plus 10. As you can see, I got one too many. Making my way across fucking Kaizo caverns, I arrived at this gate and proceeded to kill a bunch of zombies while Frosty said some incomprehensible bullshit.
Being a lambda that takes an X.
At this point I'm killing zombies for leather. This map uses custom loot tables, and while this does mean that some obscure mob in a corner of Venezuela might die and drop the Ark of the Covenant, in practice, it just means that zombies don't drop iron. Which is fine. After I grabbed enough leather, I could finally make armor. Except for a helmet, because seriously, when your skin's Saul Goodman, do you really want to lose that? At this point, it's worth mentioning that I've already played this area before, because this isn't my first try at beating the White Wall. As such, I avoided this path, and this path, and this path, and headed straight to the intersection, which I blocked off flawlessly.
Oh Lord above.
I tore up the floor, set off the world's loudest bed trap, and said this incredible line.
This has got to be the sussiest house I've ever seen.
Having established my spawn, I immediately settled right into my favourite hobby, bullying Frosty Acehook.
Wait, I can't believe I actually just doubled the performance that easily.
What do you mean that easily? You were complaining about it the whole time.
Okay, bitch.
And now that my house had a name, I could begin conquering the White Wall, starting of course, by heading straight into Magenta. Pro tip, avoid the whole first dungeon. I did this because I needed blocks. And rest assured, the gameplay was riveting. To keep it brief, I grabbed some magma for future grinders, yoinked this chest, yoinked this other chest, ran past these flaming ambiguous death mobs, triggered this obvious trap, and made this insane play.
Fucking dream. I'm fucking dream.
After this, and 19 minutes into the recording titled White Wall, I finally entered the White Wall dungeon. You're meant to parkour across this gravel, but since I'm not Dream, I instead took the coward's route and tunneled through the wall. These skeletons had a hard time seeing me due to that foreshadowing that I did earlier, so I took this opportunity to preserve their spawner and make a grinder later. Which is definitely something that I know how to do. My efforts to dig around the other side were made a bit more fraught when I ran out of pick and had to go get more wood.
This is a going problem for older men.
But I managed to break the spawner and clean up the rest of the skellies who, thanks to my head, didn't react as I ran up behind them and crit them to death with an axe. just like real life. Given that this map is meant to be hard, I took the next room cautiously using this barrier and digging strategy, but then suffered some severe head trauma, completely changed personalities, and opted to run around like a fucking lunatic instead. Having dodged the most obvious trap in the world, and acquired the jungle juice, I continued my mad rush into this lava fall room. Upon trying to pacify it, it promptly exploded. Afraid for my life, I opted to return to Sus Citadel and crafted a bow and stone pickaxe. This gave me an achievement, which began my quest to get all the achievements in the map, except for the fact that there are no Endermen and entering the Nether is a crime. I took out my anger on this skeleton, who spawned due to my inability to light up spawners properly, and then shot me from under the lava.
That's so messed up.
What a badass. I grabbed this hidden lava chest and tried to break the Temple Guardian spawner, only for mobs to start hitting me through a wall. Thank you, 1.12. I was eventually able to get it, along with all these explosion blocks and some brown mushrooms. Except this one, which fucked off into the center of the earth. Having bridged to this nearby hole, I employed my new favourite strategy, running around aimlessly, until this skeleton noticed me and I was forced to flee into the world's least suspicious room. Lava? What lava? This passage led to the wall room, which I lit up, making sure to avoid these zombies and also these ghast fireballs. That was until 1.12 hitboxes reintroduced themselves, at which point I rushed this nearby chest and looted it with extreme delicacy. I then blocked off these zombies and dealt with the problem, only pausing when I was interrupted by this ghast, whom I killed easily, and this ghast, who shot me in the face.
We can probably end the gas problem. Good shot. Oh.
Now that I was all out of arrows, I was forced to return to Skeleton Central, which I dug around in order to reach this chest, which had a shield in it. Equipped with more arrows, I returned to the wall room and immediately blew up this bridge, which was vital to progression. Not to worry, I also blew up this gas spawner, and over the next couple of minutes, the list of things exploding expanded to include the roof, my face, and the remaining ghasts, until finally, peace. During this time, I'd built a little bridge along the wall after I went full the general on the other one, but now I expanded it and eventually reached this zombie spawner, which I dive bombed with torches before fleeing into the wall like Andy Dufresne. After killing all the zombies and looting this chest, I briefly retreated to Cobweb Corridor, which I took room by room, blocking off entrances and stripping out the floor to make more tools. This involved digging into this room and using a shield for the first time as a 1.8 diehard, which led to me spending roughly 6 calendar years killing this skeleton because I didn't understand its AI. Fortunately, I got pants, which is good because if no one reminds me, I forget to wear them outside and get rugby tackled by the police. Finding not much else in the rest of the corridor, I headed back to the wall room and dug downwards towards some vague skeleton noises, completely missing this obvious ladder which would have saved me a lot of digging. The bottom was undefended, so I lit it up easily before ascending towards the group of armed men awaiting me above the ladder. Fortunately, like a wealthy business owner, I was able to seed infighting between my more impoverished enemies, who promptly whittled their own numbers down while I regained health. While my next journey up the ladder felt like I was in the poster of John Wick 2, I was able to defeat these skeletons, along with their spawner, and grab this ladder for Dream Tier clutching. Now all that was left was to grab the wall, starting with bow spamming these skeletons off the fleecy box. Well, I say that, but this guy just walked off. I guess he didn't want to be in the map either. One of my favourite facts about this wall is that the blaze spawner defending it is so low range, you can actually break it without triggering the blaze spawns. For example...
Oh shit.
Nevertheless, after a quick retreat and pleasant interaction with this skeleton, I broke the spawner, and, ignoring the blazers who had inexplicably pissed off into the lava, grabbed a single piece of white wall to take back to Sus Citadel. This concludes the White Wall dungeon of Incon Consequential, and I'd say it was honestly pretty simple. I'm sure that this good luck will continue next episode. See you then!